Hi, Alan Cox here. Hey, one of the things that we talk about often is you should treat Copilot as your assistant, giving it very detailed instructions and laying out the prompt and really asking it as much detail as possible. And not to treat it as just a search engine. While you can just type in a simple question if you just need a simple response, like you would do Google or Bing or what have you, but to really get the value out of Copilot, it's all about the prompt and as much detail in that prompt. That's going to give you the most response and the best response. However, our users often they have no idea how to prompt Copilot or how to ask specific things of Copilot. Well, Microsoft has a solution for that, and it is inside the Copilot settings in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and it is organizational prompts. These are prompts that, as an admin, you can set up and deploy to your users so they have suggested prompts in their Copilot experience. That's what we're going to talk about today: how to set that up, what it looks like from the end user perspective, and why you might do that. So that's what we're going to talk about today: is organizational prompts inside of Copilot settings in the Admin Center. So let's get started. All right, here we are in the Microsoft Admin Center, admin.cloud.microsoft, or that's a new URL, by the way. You can go to admin.microsoft.com, which is, if I'm typing it in, that's generally where I'm going to go. But either way, it takes you here. And we've got a new dashboard here. And I really do like it because it just presents a lot of information that I really like to see at glance. Copilot activity, agent usage, some license breakdown, Microsoft 365 usage, so we can really go into some of those key areas that I might do often. But one of the things we can do here is we're going to drop into this Copilot settings section. Now, I'll be honest, I hope that at some point Microsoft will kind of combine some of this stuff and put like Copilot settings. Here's some Agent 365. We've talked a little bit about that. I think in writing we'll do a video on that at some point. But we're going to go to Copilot here, Copilot settings, and we've got overview, some information on CoWork, connectors, and settings, and there's just a ton of settings here that we can go into. One day we'll go into and kind of walk through this in more detail, but we can go here, for example, if you want to opt in or out of the Copilot Frontier program, you can do that right here by enabling early access here. But where we're going to focus today is this area called prompts. Now, we go in here and we're going to already have some prompts set up because it does take a little bit of time once you create a prompt for it to show up in the user's Copilot experience. And it not real long, but it can take anywhere from minutes to hours for it to show up. So I went ahead and built some of these out, and we're going to walk through that. Now I've got some here. We can export the prompts, so I can go in here and click export. It's going to basically take all of this prompt information, which is what the actual prompt is, a description, all that information. You'll throw it into a CSV file, right? So, and there that is, and we will go here and see if we can open that file, and we'll just see what that presents to us. All right, so here is that CSV file, and we can see we just got the title, description, display prompt, the actual text of the prompt, when it's modified, etc. So that's just that. Now we can also I'm not going to save this. We can go in and we can do an import a prompt. And so if we import a prompt, it's going to ask us for a CSV upload. We can download a template and we'll see what fields we might need for that. So let's open that up real quick. All right, and so pretty straightforward here. We'll expand this out. So we basically need the title, the prompt, description, display prompt, kind of those settings that we saw in the export there. So relatively straightforward. We get that filled out, we upload it, and then we can do our import our prompt there. We can refresh this list. We can create prompt. We can do analytics. So export prompts with the analytics. So we can look at the different. I'm gonna click on this and see if it gives us a whole lot here. So not really a whole lot, but we can just export these prompts with the analytics. Gives us kind of usage and that sort of information. Now we have here, if we go learn about prompt management, we're going to build a prompt here in just a second. We go to prompt management, and it's going to take us out here, or learn about prompt management. Take us to this document here out on learn. And so here we can say, what are these prompts? Well, they are, so the organization can create and publish for their end users. Administrators can create, view, update, delete, import, and publish prompts so that they're shared with users in your organization. And so they're displayed in the user's Copilot chat and Edge and Microsoft Teams, etc. So, but the point is, these are good prompts you might set up for your users so that they have a good starting point. Sometimes the users just don't know what to ask, and this is a good way to kind of give them some direction there. And they show up here as the suggested prompts, and we're going to look at that in just a second. So if we look at one that I've built here, let's do an executive weekly brief. And I click this open here. We can see there's the prompt title, display prompt. Here's the title I gave it. I gave it a general description, what the display prompt would look like. So that's how it would look for an end user. And then here's the actual prompt. Summarize my emails, chats, Teams, all of this. And you can go in and do all of this information, just give it all kinds of instructions, what's supported, task type. You don't have to fill every bit of that in. And department. Now, department isn't a user department like HR or any of that. But it's prompt, that's where you can kind of group your prompts. You'll see this, the user doesn't see these, but you'll see this here, this department. And this is where you can kind of group, like, these are based on, leadership. Or you could do it like emails, calendar, OneDrive, different groupings of type of what the prompts might apply to. So any number of ways you can do that, right? And so that's that. And then we can pin that prompt. And when we pin the prompt, it will, it basically will pin it as a suggested prompt for that user. So we're going to take a look at that. But let's go in if we create a prompt. So we're going to create a prompt here, and may have, let me see here. See if I've got some in my clipboard history, just because sometimes it's easier. So the title may be an action item summary, right? My description maybe is extracts and organizes action items from meetings for tracking. Now the display prompt, what do I want this display as? I want to say extract meeting action items. Okay, and so the actual prompt may be identify all actions from my meetings this week and group them by project, assign owners where possible, etc. So, and again, you can go in and just fill this out, give it all the instructions you want. I mean, literally you have 8,000 characters to work with here, so you can do as much instruction here as you want. Now, as far as department, I can say maybe this is project. Oh, you got one for project management, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter, because really these are just groups grouping there together. So department's project manager, task type, maybe we're going to do, I don't know, analyze, that's fine. Language English, we're going to publish, we're good to go. We're going to publish this. And so then here in just a second, I will refresh this, and we should see that one pop up here. May take it just a second. Okay, there's action item summary. I can pin this here. I can only pin 4 prompts. I've done pin. Okay, did not even know that was a limit, but there you go. So I can only pin four prompts. So So the way this looks here, and of course I can go into the ellipsis, I can go in and edit, I can delete it, any number of things. I want to look and let's see if we find that here in the, um, see if it talks about the pinning. I'm just curious. And okay, this is where we can go in and say, see if Copilot will help us here. It will do it quickly. And we're going to let it and see if it will go and do that. I'm just curious. We're kind of poking around here for a minute because I did not honestly know there was a limitation. I guess lucky. Top 4 organizational prompts that get elevated to users as suggested prompts in Copilot chat. Okay, so these are like hero prompts. So those are the ones you would want to really pin for your users. Now, okay, so there we go. So we got some information on pinning prompts there. Thank you, Copilot. Now what we can do here is we'll go back here. So we've pinned those. Well, the end user experience will look pretty much like this. Let's go here. And this end user is going to see these suggested prompts. Otherwise, they will not see these suggested prompts. And they will see them here. If you click this ellipsis here and then the new Copilot or the chat, and you click this ellipsis here, it's going to take you to the prompt lab, and you see the suggested. And so we see that we have that one actually showed up really quick. That's the one we just did. So by pinning them doesn't necessarily mean that they are, going to show up as the most important for these users. I'm guessing because this one showed up here just as well. Okay, but we got generate, create a follow-up meeting or email after meeting. These are the ones that we have in our. Okay. So the display prompt summarize my week for leadership. Summarize my week for leadership, right? So these are the prompts that we get. And so I can click any one of these and it would just go to town, because if I click on it, we can see this is the actual prompt that's in that. Okay, so we're going to look back at that and say, for example, sales follow-up email. Here's the prompt. Create a follow-up email based on recent customer meetings, summarize key discussion points, and so forth. And confident but not pushy, and that's exactly what the prompt says here. And then off you go. The whole point of the prompt in the organizational prompts is so that you as an administrator, if you have some really good prompts you'd like to share with your user base, then this is one way that you can do that and send these prompts out to your organizations. Some really, really key prompts that are just going to be helpful to your users. Things that are very common, summarize my weekly meetings or plan for my weekly meetings ahead, whatever you want to do. But that is prompts for your organization inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot Admin Center. So that's it. So hopefully this has been helpful for you, and I would like to thank you for watching.